WLNS is here for you with 6 News at 5:30.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Siobhan Klepper. We have a lot of ground to cover in the first 6 minutes of news, so let's hit that clock. And we begin with an update in this morning's shooting at a hospital in Troy. Police say a man is now in custody. They say a hospital worker shot and injured a co-worker at Corewell Health Beaumont Troy Hospital around 7 o'clock this morning. We've learned officers found the suspected shooter at a home in Macomb Township less than 3 hours later.
As the incident progressed, it became more apparent that this was actually a targeted event between 2 hospital employees. The 25-year-old victim from Troy pulled into the parking garage, followed shortly by the suspect. The suspect fired at least 5 shots from a handgun, striking the victim in the arm.
Well, tonight officials say the victim is stable in the hospital. Why the shooting happened is still being investigated. And at a hospital in Philadelphia today, there was another shooting. A police officer was shot by someone outside the hospital but survived thanks to their bulletproof vest. That officer is now recovering. Officials say other officers shot the suspect and that person's status is not known. Reporters on the scene say police were working on a psychiatric intake at the time of this shooting. A man is now facing charges in South Haven after police say he rammed a patrol car while trying to escape from officers. Police spotted a stolen SUV at a gas station this morning and went up to the vehicle. They say the driver, a 49-year-old man from Traverse City, then tried to get away by ramming a patrol car and then leading officers on a chase. They were eventually able to pop his tires and the driver crashed. Police arrested him soon after. There were no serious injuries reported. Closer to home, a lawsuit against the Livingston County Jail is moving forward. John Griswold was being held at the jail back in 2018 and died while in custody. He was there for less than 24 hours at the time of his death. This week, a federal judge ruled his family can proceed with the lawsuit. Their lawyer says Griswold needed medical attention and was in obvious distress, which was ignored by jail guards and medical workers. And a lawsuit in Florida claims tampering with an amusement park ride led to the death of a 14-year-old boy back in 2022. Park employee Austin Campbell Alexander said in the state whistleblower lawsuit that the ride had sensors that were modified to accommodate people whose height or weight were outside of safety limits. The boy, Tyree Sampson, was outside of those limits. Campbell Alexander says he went to management with his concerns but was ignored. The family reached a settlement with the ride's operators and Campbell Alexander was fired. He says that was retaliation for making his concerns known. Well, take a look at this. Officials say fireworks exploded inside of a California house, destroying it and leaving a man in critical condition. This happened today. Firefighters say someone was making fireworks there. They also found several dogs trapped inside that home. As you can see, they were all eventually found and are safe. A woman is safe tonight thanks to firefighters in New York who rescued her from the fast-moving East River Monday night. They say multiple people called about a woman in distress and found her in the dark, cold water. A Marine unit was called in to save the woman. Also in New York, hikers had to be lifted to safety after getting stranded on a cliff face on Tuesday. 2 people were hiking a gully when they found themselves trapped by mud, erosion, and high water flows. Rescuers lowered themselves to the hikers, who were then lifted 200 feet to safety. A huge protest in Denver today as teachers across Colorado rallied at the state capitol for a day of action. Thousands showed up to rally against education funding cuts. Many schools across the Denver area had to cancel classes due to so many teachers being out. Colorado's per pupil funding is one of the lowest in the country, and the teachers were protesting state funding cuts, but they're also worried about education cuts on the federal level as President Trump is set to dismantle the Department of Education. Tonight, virtually all Tesla Cybertrucks on the road right now are being recalled. U.S. safety regulators say this is the 8th such recall since deliveries to customers started just over a year ago. Federal officials say this recall covers more than 46,000 Cybertrucks, and it has to do with an exterior panel that runs along the left and right side of the windshield. It can detach while driving. Tesla will replace the panel for free.
Lejos de toda la persecución, lejos de la represión aplicada en los Estados Unidos.
Well, that is the Minister of Interior for Venezuela welcoming migrants removed from the United States by the Trump administration. About 311 people arrived today. The Interior Minister told the migrants they're now far from the repression of the United States and will be embraced. The first woman is at the helm of the International Olympic Committee, perhaps the biggest job in world sports. Kirsty Coventry of Zimbabwe is now president of the organization and the first person from the African continent to hold the job. She's a former Olympic athlete, having won back-to-back titles in 200-meter backstroke at the 2004 Athens Olympics and Beijing 4 years later. She joined the IOC in 2013. Coventry will oversee the IOC, making a statement choice for its host for the 2036 Summer Games. Well, check this out. Once again, a lava fountain was visible at Hawaii's Kilauea volcano today. Video from the U.S. Geological Survey shows lava shooting into the air with fountains reaching between 50 to 100 feet. Kilauea's current eruption started on December 23rd of last year, with episodes of these lava fountains continuing from anywhere from 13 hours to 8 days. And from lava flow to an overflow of oranges scattered across the highway. Whoops, take a look at this. This is in Los Angeles in California. A freeway there had to be closed for more than an hour after crates full of oranges spilled across several lanes near Universal Studios Wednesday afternoon. This sticky situation caused traffic backups on adjacent freeways as well, leaving drivers, Kendall, very frustrated.
See what you did there?
Frustrated, frustrated.
Nice little pun.
Thanks.
That we got for you today. Unfortunately for our weather, I don't think it was as enjoyable as Siobhan's joke. You know, it was cool. We had snow across the area today.
Lots of it. It felt, I mean, it didn't stick, but it was coming down for a while.
Yeah, and thankfully tomorrow we're a lot sunnier and a lot more spring-like with our temperatures too.
All right, your full forecast right after the break. Looking forward to that. And then later, we're going to have some new movies for you to check out, including a comedy sequel, a love triangle, and a kid lost in space. That's ahead in this week's Popcorn Picks. Stick around. We'll be right back.